Halo guys, I'm jelita sinurat. I'm student Universitas Metodis Indonesia, Fakultas Sastra in Medan. And now I would like to explain about the first chapter of my minor research with the title A Study of Nominal Clauses in Chekhov the Bear. But before I explain that, I would like to say thanks to my lecturer, Dr. Esron Ambarita SS M.Hum.
Okay, next, the chapter 1 is Introduction. The first background of the study. Language is a set of signals used to communicate. Here, the writers deal with how words are ordered in certain clusters called as a clause. Clause, based on dictionary entry, means group of words that contains a subject and a verb. Why a short story, The Bear by Chekhov, is chosen is based on his own writing style. So, based on the statements, the writer tries to find conclusion that the writer personally is it effort to prove that the writing style of Chekhov can be revealed even though from his house famous work, The Bear. The problem of study. In this thesis, the writer will refer to basic questions related to the term that appears in the literary work. The question 1. What types and functions of nominal clauses occur in the bear? The second, what stylistic function do they have in the story? The scope of the study. The writer gives a limited knowledge in linguistic time, sources, and facilities. The linguistic cannot be separated from life, and linguistic does not include nominal clauses only, but it covers phrase, morphology, syntax, and pragmatics. At this time, the writer chooses a story to her topic of her study. There are many kinds of story, however, the writer is more interested in Chekhov's work, that is, The Bear. The objective of the study. In the other point of view, after knowing the types and function of nominal clauses, anyone who read this thesis are expected to understand the implied message that might be developed by the occurrences of those clauses. Moreover, anyone will get a little information about the Jacob's writing style, not be confused by this complex story. The significance of the study. This study has significance for the students, especially for the English department. First of all, this study is meant to encourage the students to study more about linguistics, and this study gives information concerning the novel through the rule of play based on nominal clauses in Chekhov's The Bear. Then, to give the information the students to study the novel as one of linguistic works and the reader a better understanding about the nominal clauses of the story. In the next chapter, I want to explain about nominal clauses. A nominal clause basically can be interpreted as a clause which is function like noun or noun phrase. A nominal clause may occur as subject, object, complement, appositive, and prepositional complement. A nominal clause may be classified as dependent clause and functions as a noun clause. And the next, that clauses. A nominal clause that introduces its clause by adding word that in front of the clause. This clause may function as a subject, a direct object, a subject complement, and a positive or adjectival complement. It cannot, however, occur as prepositional complement or as object complement. And next, nominal inclose. A nominal inclose or a participle clause usually has no subject. According to Quick, it is common that the participle clause has no subject. Example: in subject, doing the best is his motto. Infinitive and verbose clause. Based on the Quick theory, to is optional to be omitted in a clause. which supplies a predication corresponding to the use of the proverb do. Example, what I did was to throw away the paper. WH interrogative clauses may occur in several positions such as subject, direct object, subject complement, appositive, adjectival complement, and prepositional complement. Yes, no interrogative clause. In this clause, the dependent yes or no clause is introduced by conjunction whether and if. Whether and if can also be used to show that the clause indicating an alternative question. Nominal relative clause. A nominal relative clause is introduced by WH element. It has role as WH pronoun of determiner. The difference from other nominal clause is that the function of its WH pronoun. And the next two infinitive nominal clauses. The next type is two infinitive nominal clauses. The type is indicated by the afference of the two infinitive after the head. Example, in subject, to be an idol is very difficult. And the last chapter is chapter 3. There is research design. Based on the source used, the study or analysis was categorized as an empirical research. The empirical research, based on Chomsky's explanation, is his book Aspect of the Theory of Syntax, mean a kind of research based on such data. Data sources. The writer used a literary text as the source for the corpus of other analysis. The primary source was taken from the literary text by Jacob de Beers. This text became the primary source because all of the data were taken from this book. Then the sources from the theories were from several linguistic books containing the nominal clauses terms, dictionaries, and internet sites. And for the analysis, there were two major steps and several sub-steps. Data analysis. First, the writer divided the analysis into two parts, that is, Part A and Part B. Part A was entitled The Types and Functions of the Nominal Clauses. Here, Part A analyzed the data to lead the answer of problem number 1, that was about the occurrence of types and functions of the nominal clauses in Jacob de Beers. After that, the writer included a new paragraph about the Part B general conclusion. Hence, based on two different opinions about the Joseph Conrad's characteristics of writing that were mentioned in the introduction, the writer led into the answer of problem number 2, that was about the significance of the function of order tendency in using those patterns. Okay, next, this is the last point, is data collection. The first, the data were taken from one of the short stories in the collection entitled The Best Short Story of the Modern Age. The next, Youth, stood a single chapter and consisted of 30 pages with 1 page per preface. And the next, the writer will only take the data from 10 pages starting at the third page and the next every third page step. Then the data were classified according to their characteristic as it was required in the previous chapter and explained in the next subchapter. The last, on the other hand, the writer, by using this kind of collecting data, also tried to collect supposition data that represented all occurrence of nominal clauses starting from the beginning up to the end of the story.
Okay, that's all my explain about my mini research. Okay, and please don't forget like, subscribe and comment this channel, guys. Okay, thank you very much. Bye bye.